Well, today I'd like to share some more of my opinions and my personal beliefs with you. You know, I've posted this on other sites and stuff before, but I want to cover it on here. Uh, the midterm elections are coming up, and as I have, me and others have been constantly bringing this up in several different areas and um, bringing it up to Congress and the Senate and bringing it up to everybody and anybody that you possibly can, which don't really matter because, I mean, they're all criminals anyway. I mean, Republicans, Democrats, it's just a big show. They're all the same. Corrupted rich people, just filling their own pockets. But the game is the game, and the game is afoot. Now, in 2010, and I don't know why they do this, but this is what I've said. And they've said that they're doing an investigation on it and supposed to be changing it. But you know how that is. They'll tell you one thing 1 minute, and it's always a lie anyway. But anyway, elections, when they get ready to do elections, what they do is they pick out certain areas and districts that they're going to be holding, where everybody goes and votes at. So they have to make district maps of these areas. Now, ideally, when you're making these maps, you're supposed to start in an area and you're supposed to make it more equally for everybody to meet at a better location rather than having a bunch of smaller locations and or whatnot. Just pick out some bigger areas everybody can go to and meet. Now, it's supposed to be on a fair basis, but how it's ever going to be on a fair basis when you allow politicians to have control of making the voter maps? Well, in 2010, the Republicans have gotten control of making the voter district maps out. Now, when you're making the maps, you're not supposed to leave any gaps or anything. You got to keep it continuous from one to the next, from county to county or town to town or whatnot, and state to state. Well, what these guys did, instead of targeting equal areas, they targeted it high rich areas that were mostly populated with Republicans. And this is where they would set up their voting districts and whatnot for people to go vote. And they started in one area, and then instead of just going to another area like they're supposed to, they would actually jump on the highways and byways and travel their line on the map down the center of the highway until they come up to the next location that was heavily populated with white, rich Republicans. And then they would jump off onto that. And then that would be the next voting station, and so on, and so on, and so on. Now, granted, not everyone was done like that because then that would be too noticeable. But the majority of the locations were done like that, giving the Republicans the upper hand. And henceforth, if you look back in your records, this is when the Republicans started taking more control and getting more seats instead of the Democrats. Now, because of this, they got in before Trump was being elected. And granted, Trump wasn't their first choice. And it is what it is, and it was already pre-designed that he was going to be in there at this time anyway. I mean, just watch The Simpsons. You know, they predict that shit all the time, you know. But anyway, so what they did is, and if you know, the popular vote did not go to Trump. That's our vote. That's the people's vote, the popular vote. That's what the people vote for. The Electoral College vote is the politician's vote that put him in office. And because the majority of the politicians were Republican, they put him in office. Now, originally, the electoral vote was designed only to be used in case of a bad person was going to get voted in by the public, because originally it's supposed to be the citizens of America that has the say on who gets voted in or not, who works for us, because the taxpayers, which is us, pay for them. Okay. Well, originally the electoral vote was supposed to keep bad people from getting into office, domestic or foreign terrorists for infiltrating into office and taking and seizing control of our country. But in this case, they seized control of our country and put exactly who they wanted and into the presidency. Now, this is illegal. This whole entire presidency is illegal. This whole farce is illegal. But what you got to remember is none of it matters anyway, because it's all a big giant game. Republican, Democrat, it's all the same. You just think there's a difference. There ain't no difference. They're criminals. They're corrupted criminals that are destroying our environment, destroying our ways, destroying our religions, destroying our people, destroying our countries, destroying our allies. And we shouldn't have to have enemies and allies. We should all be one big happy family. I mean, this madness has to come to an end. We just can't be like this anymore. It does not make any sense. I want this to get around the world. And we need to all come together. We need to put all the bad people in a different area away from us so they're out of our societies, our civilization, because they are just a, a disease that just eats away at us. And we can't allow it any longer. All this hate, letting people starve around the world, and letting little children and other people suffer, and it's just madness of torturing animals and cooking them alive. I mean, we got to stop all that kind of stuff. All the evil people in the world need to be removed. All the people that are racist, and all the people that are chauvinist, and all the people, marching around their little, white dresses and white hoods on, and waving their, German flags or whatever, Fourth Reich, the neo-Nazi movement, skinheads, and anybody who's just got hate against anybody needs to be removed from our society and our civilization. In my plan, I have islands designed as they're private prison islands, but they're not like a prison, because I would never treat people the way that they treat people. We're going to put them on an island where they can live a comfortable life and they can stay there, and, they can grow out their food or raise their food. They'll have shelter, and we'll drop off supplies and stuff that they need or whatnot, and they'll stay there until they're gone. I mean, we're gonna pull a trick out of their handbook, and they're gonna be removed from our society, because we cannot allow pedophiles and rapists and racists and chauvinists and abusers and haters and murderers and thieves to be in control of us, and I know there's good ones in there, don't get me wrong. I know there's good ones, because there's always some good apples in a bushel, just like there's always some bad apples in a bushel. But the thing is, there is just so many bad apples in the bushel They outnumber all the good apples in the bushel, and it's turning all the apples in the bushels bad. And then everybody out here is left eating their junk. And we need to change it. So, if you're a good apple, you best be thinking about joining up with the right people. Because the American citizens and all the other poor people around the world, all the slave laborers and toy soldiers and whatnot, I mean, we're all just tired of all this same old everybody dies but the rich man gets everything he wants. The rich woman gets everything she wants. The rich kids get everything they want. And then the 99% of us out here that does everything, that creates everything, that builds everything, that makes the magic happen, get nothing. We get the short end of the stick. And it can't be this way anymore. We don't need Republicans. We don't need Democrats. What we need is good, honest, regular, average people in control of these countries. And that's what we need. In my PAN plan, we're, like I've said before, and I'll keep saying it, we're putting, your college professors and your university professors and whatnot in charge of everything. People that's actually got some intelligence, but honest people. We're putting a cap on how much money can be earned by these individuals. And, you got to be at least, you can't be 70, 80 years old around the corner from Alzheimer's or whatnot until we get this aging thing under control. I mean, you need to be around 50 years old when you go in the office, 50, 52. When you go in the office and you're only going to serve 4 years and you're out of there. There's no more, no more of this. And we're not even going to have like a government system like you got. Like my PAN plan, we're having a global council system. We're all going to come together. We're all going to work together. Everybody from every country, every top person from each country, because there's going to be. You always got to have some kind of leadership. You got to have it, or there's nothing but chaos. There's got to be order. There's got to be structure. There's got to be unity. And this is what we need to do. We all just need to get together. We need good, honest people. And there's a cap on how much money is going to be made for everybody. Because really, we don't need money. But seeing how everybody's already conditioned to live off of money, I can work with you to make it seem to where you're still getting what you're believing is money, because money is really just an illusion. It don't exist. Nothing, like I've told you plenty of times, nothing's created with a value other than living things and stuff. But anyway, we just need to get together. I mean, I don't care what your race is, I don't care what fashion taste you have. I don't care who you sleep with, male, female, as long as it ain't kids, I don't care. We do got to have laws and stuff. I mean, that's just it's just common sense, but not so many, you know. And that's something where it's just turning into a giant game of collecting money off everybody every time you turn around the corner. It is just ridiculous, but we do got to have some sensible laws, and we do got to enforce these laws. And in order to enforce these laws and make these laws, we got to have these laws made and enforced by honest people and not criminals. Because what we have is just basic corrupted criminal terrorists just running our governments, posing as our leaders and our politicians and their families and whatnot that they all jointly own or have stock in or whatever you want to call it. These huge corporations and these banking institutions and this fake stock market scam. All that stuff, like I told you before, it's got to come to an end. We need to stop spending our money at these high corporate places. And as for the government people, if you don't follow them, they're not leaders. They work for us. Our taxpayers pay for the worker that sweeps the streets and the towns up to the president himself of the United States. And everybody in all these other countries, one way or another, you're paying for it too. So everybody pays because the 99 cent, which is 99% of the people, which is you, the poor people, have all the control because you're the backbone of this planet. Nothing gets done without you. We can't build anything without you. You're the worker ants. And you need to realize that you are important. You are important to this world. You are important to this environment. You are important to every living thing on it. You're important to me. You are special. And you're here for a reason, and it's not what these criminals are telling you. You are amazing people, every one of you. I don't care what walk of life that you come from or what geological location that you were born in. I don't care what color your skin is, what religion you want to believe. I don't care about anything. I don't care if you're gay or lesbian or bisexual or trisexual or who knows. This, as long as it's not perverted, I don't care because I love you all. It's just you all need to come together as one big giant tribe of people just working together to build a better future for all of us and all of our descendants to come. And it's got to be a future with no crime, no war, no pollution, no diseases, and no corrupt people that cause all these things. So it's time to stand up. It's time to rise above the ashes of this destruction that these evil monsters cause on a daily basis. I mean, killing kids, tearing kids away from their parents and throwing them in cages. And it can't be allowed to happen anymore. This is not what you were meant to be. This is not what you were created for. And I don't care what religion and whatnot you want to start picking words about. Creation is a biblical word. Well, guess what? Creation was around before your Bible. You just ripped it off like everything else. So, believe what you want. And I don't care what you believe. But don't be running down my religion, because my religion is the original religion. Because my race is older than the rest of yours. You're just only been around for a few million years. And, you're positive blood types, like I said before. So you're evolved from the rhesus monkey, and that's what RH plus means for your blood type. A few million years later, and you're still throwing your shit at each other. I mean, it's time to evolve. And I need to watch my mouth. I know, I'm sorry. I do swear a lot, and I do apologize, but I'm not here to save me. There's no saving me. I'm here to save you. This is what I'm here for. And this is what we're all here for. Everybody that gets out here and does this, this is what we do. But I want to talk about past governments and things because I believe there's a lot of things that people don't understand. So I'm going to give you an example by using Ireland and the British Empire, which, by the way, is same colors as our American flag and also represented by the evil eagle, not the serpent, because we're love. But anyway, this is what happens. I've always told you about before. People go in and the military go in and destroy your books and everything. But I'm going to go a little bit more detail than I have before, because I try to jump around a lot and try to give everybody a little taste of my knowledge, kind of get you listening, and then then I'll really lay it on to you. But they go in there, and what happens is when they go marching into a place, and say like Ireland, and they go to Ireland, and they go in there and they tell the people, they're taking over everything. People's lived there forever, as I told you before, and they come marching in, hey, we're your new rulers, I've told you that before. But what I left out is what happens is when they seize this land. Now, clans and tribes and whatnot, they're like big families, they like villages or whatnot, but they're big family units is basically what it is. Okay. So when they come into Ireland and they took over everything and they started killing everybody and taking power, because first thing they try to do is instill fear on everybody. That's what burning witches and stuff, or supposedly witches at the stake and hanging them and drowning them and piling rocks on them and pushing their guts out, like I told you before. It was not just to steal the property and whatnot, but it was also to instill fear and everybody watching this stuff happening, because they grew up with these people that this is happening to, and it's going to make you think twice about, practicing the same religion as they were if you're watching them get fried crispy at the steak on a Saturday, so it's a good way to make people convert and believe in whatever you want. Another thing is they were also, destroying all their medical knowledge and stuff when they did that. But their science and inventions or whatnot to keep you undereducated. But anyway, when they go marching into Ireland, they take over everything. They take over the land and everything. And as I told you, you got to buy the land back and you got to pay taxes. But what they do now is because, clans and tribes or whatnot could have hundreds to even thousands of people that, all have all these thousands of acres or more that they all lived on for hundreds of years, or if not thousands of years or whatnot. So say you got the clan of the McGavins. Okay, it's one of my family names. Also is McGowan. McGowan is one of my family names. Smith, Smithson, Smythe, Smith. But what happens is when they take over and they went into Ireland, they told everybody, well, you can't own land. You can't have livestock. You can't do anything unless you take one of our English names. You can't have your name anymore. So you had to change your name to an English name, or you couldn't own anything in your own country. So, um, say McGavin, McGowan, McGaver. There's so many, so many versions of it because we got so many family names, but I'm just using just one of them. Well, it means a smith, a blacksmith, a metalsmith, a smith because it comes from Gavin, which is the smith god of the Tahti Danya. And he was a smith god. We're also called the Dans. And their goddess that they followed was Danu, which Danu, um, Danu. I can't pronounce it right, but she was a goddess that they followed and got changed to the Dan. It was Danyan, but Danu. But yeah, so they make you change your name. Okay, so but now they're doing taxes. So in order to split up the land and the taxes better, they had to individualize each family. So now you get different versions of the name. They either add another letter or two letters or change the letters around. So it could be SMITH or it could be SMYTH or SMITHSON or you get the idea. So now you got all these different versions of the same name, but it's all the same family, but just done for tax purposes because it's easier to keep track of the property and who don't pay their taxes and whose property you're going to take. And that's what that was done for. So there's a lot of people out there that don't even know they're related to each other. Because, like I said, back in the day, when you moved away, there wasn't no telephones or emails or you know Dino Express or whatnot, depending on what area you're in or what century or whatnot. You moved away, it was pretty much forever and ever and ever more, and everybody else you ever knew was gone. So now you got all these people that relate to each other all over the world. It's got all these different names that don't realize that they're all related to each other. So, and there are some, that aren't related to each other that just got that name, like slaves when they were brought over here were forced to have English names, so they got a names assigned to them. So it has nothing to do with their blood heritage, and it's easy to track down your roots or whatnot and where you come from. You just got to go through a lot of records and stuff, and usually there's a manifest on the ships that tell you who the passengers were and what cargo they carried. Even today you can still travel on freight liners and cargo ships. Some of them will still run passengers' rooms. It's like $100 a day or something. And you got your meals and everything included, and you just bunk right there on the ship and go port to port wherever they go. They had a guy not too long ago. He took a 3-year adventure around the world or something like that, I guess. But yeah, things are always being changed by these criminal governments. I mean, they're always keeping you undereducated. They're always destroying your history. They're always blowing shit up. They're always killing people and committing multiple crimes against humanity. And it's time for all the good people in the world to just stand up and say it is enough. We are not going to allow this anymore. So I want everybody around the world, I mean everybody, if you're a good, decent human being, you need to stand up for everybody else. And we need to join forces together. I mean, to start joining together. I don't care what color or what not, or what anything different is. Get together and let's start telling these people, let's march on their capitals and let's march in front of their buildings and in their buildings and in their Congress and in their Senate or whatever we gotta do, or down around the White House or whatever we gotta do. But we gotta tell them it is enough is enough. And we're done with this war. We're done with wars. We're done with killing. We're done with murder. We're done with you taking every single dime we got and shoving more money in your pocket. And we're done with you. And we're done with it all. And regular people's going to take over because we're 99% of the population. And this is our country. And I mean every country. This is our world. And it's time that we take control. It's time to put the evil people where they belong. It's time to become what you are always meant to become. And this is not it. You are so far behind. And you are just killing yourselves, working yourselves into your sixth extinction. I mean, come on. And you know what's happening. You can't say it's not happening. You can't deny it's not happening. I mean, we're telling you it's happening every day. You could walk outside and see it. You can see the jets fly through the sky with the chemtrails behind them. I mean, it's just, oh my God. They take and you know, when I say, oh my God, that's just a term of speech for me because I am 100%, the goddess that who I represent is a goddess. But when I say God, and I'm not saying there ain't gods and goddesses, don't get me wrong, because you gotta have both. But the goddess is the one that is the creation. Think about it, female. But anyway, it's just a figure of speech for me, is what I'm trying to say. You know, but I want all you to know you're worth living. You are worth being a part of this world. And you have every right to be a part of this world. You have every right to walk on the same land, breathe the same air, swim in the same water, do everything the same as any other people on this planet or any other creature or insect or alien that comes by or whatnot. It just don't matter. Because every man, woman, child, every life form needs to be respected. They need to be respected and treated decent and equal. Every man, woman, and child should be equal to every other man, woman, and child in every way that you can think of. These walls and fences and borders need to come down because, our planet wasn't created with borders, walls, and fences, and we can't have that. Nobody has the right to section off property. Nobody has the right to own property. As I told you before, you're just a grain of sand on the beach of eternity. You're only here for a blink of an eye, and then you'll be gone in your history, just like the archaeologists dig up every day. Except for they lie to you about what they find. Because the rich people pay them. So, but every one of you is important. You're here for a reason. You have purpose. You have sense. You have value. And you're the only thing that does have value. Gold don't have value. It's created in the sun. The sun's just a nuclear reactor. I've told you that. Diamonds don't have value, but yet here they're going over there in Africa, and if you don't dig their diamonds out of the mine from, they're cutting little kids' hands and stuff off. I mean, how barbaric is that? In China, they're cooking animals alive, and here they're taking shipments of people in and possibly eating people. I've told you that before. And then you got these priests, and I mean, don't get me wrong. Now, I need to clarify this because I say mega churches on my blogs and stuff when I'm writing on my Facebook page or whatnot, but I guess I don't clarify it too much here. But when I'm talking about the evil churches, the Catholics and Christian churches, I'm talking about your big mega churches. I'm not talking about every religious leader out there because I accept all religions. So don't get me wrong, because a lot of your religious leaders are good people. You know, I might not agree what they believe in, but I recognize what they believe in because I know, even though it's been twisted all the heck, it does come from my original root religion. So, but not everybody's bad, but there's a lot of bad ones out there, and you can spot the bad ones because if you're walking into a giant mansion, then that's probably gonna be a bad person that's working in there. It's a false prophet, is what you're looking at. Now, all your little small churches or whatnot, your little mom and pop churches out in the country, your little city churches, the ones that actually they have food banks and soup kitchens where they're helping people, or they do coat drives and clothes drives for the kids, or food boxes for the poor. I mean, those are the people that are the good, honest people that are trying to help everybody. Those are the ones that you want to support. But if you go to a church and you're driving in there and it's like walking into a giant mansion, then you know where your money's going. It's not going to the help people. It's going in vanity, which is a sin. So, and greed and lust, because you're lusting after all these riches. It's no different than lusting after anything. You know, most people preach. I mean, you got the Ten Commandments is in your religion, but you break them on a daily basis. And then you preach at everybody else. And you act like you're better than everybody else, but you're not better than everybody else. Nobody's better than anybody else. This is what you need to understand. And you don't need to be better than anybody else. I've told you that. We just need to exist. And we need to exist together. Because we're all living on this rock. And that's all there is to it. And, we can't keep just destroying each other. Countless supposedly different races, which is just, you know, a loosely termed. Because your idea of different races and my idea of different races are completely different ideas. Because most of you think you're a different race and you're the same race. You just, I've explained that to you, so I'm not going to go over it again. But you need to, we need to go in. We need to go in all these, like I've told you before. We need to start cleaning up the world. You know, there's no reason why we should have anybody that's hungry. There's no reason why we should have people living on the streets. There's no reason why we should have crime. This is all done by design. And every election is just a big game. Oh, we're going to elect a Republican or we're going to elect a Democrat. Well, guess what? They're laughing at you because they're all the same. You're electing criminals. That's all you're electing. They're all the same people. It's just, And we need to get rid of all them people. Them kind of people can't be in office. We can't allow that anymore. We need to restructure our government. I've already started with my PAN plan, and I've got a good start on it. We got free education for everybody around the globe. Everybody gets to take a vacation every year from working. You get every year, you get a month vacation. You get to travel anywhere in the world, and every year it's a different place you get to go, and it's all paid for. Your medical's all paid for. Your education's all paid for. Everything's, all taken care of, and it's all done because we got the community council. What we do is we send our own people in there, and they help run these businesses, and they pay the community council, and the community council pays you. That's how it works. So from the time you turn 18 years old, whop, bam, guess what? You get a paycheck from that day on. I mean, you're with your family up until then, but when you hit 18 years old, you're going to have a community council card once we get this thing going. And you're going to have money on that card. And you ain't never going to have to want for anything again. You're going to have an education. You're going to travel around the world. You're going to learn different languages. You're going to have an education. You're going to actually know what's going on. You're going to be able to experience all these cultures and stuff so we can gain love for each other. And that's what we need to do. And we're going to go through and we need to clean up all these little ghettos and whatnot, the little villages, the Bronx, the whatever you want to call them, the boroughs, the whatnot. We're going through every single place, and they need to be fixed because guess what? We print money, and if you want gold, it's everywhere. I mean, you need gold to print money on. Take a little rocket trip up there, and grab you one of them there asteroids or two that's worth $100 trillion a piece. People don't understand what money's worth. I mean, the concept of numbers is beyond them. Like you take $1 billion. Let me break down what $1 billion means to you. If I take 1 million people, 1 million of you poor people, and give you each $1 million a piece, that's $1 billion. That's how much $1 billion is. $1 billion can reach to the moon and back twice, from what I hear. And some people have $10 billion. When you're talking $1 trillion, well, that's $1 trillion billion. You know? So, I mean, that's a lot of freaking cabbage now. There's a lot of things you could do for your family with that kind of money. So, there's no reason why there should be any poverty in the world or poor people. All this is done because then they could force people into committing crimes, and then they could force people into paying for them while they're in prison, and then they could force the prisoners to make their darn products that they put in the stores to sell back to the people that they're making them pay to be in there. So, I mean, it's just an all big scam. They take the stock market, work it so they can collapse it. They lay you off your jobs and have the bankers come in and repossess your shit, and then they raise everything back up hunky dory again and sell it for high prices. So they get it cheap when it crashes because they cause it to crash, and they design it where everybody's out of work, and this is the unemployment is just way more people unemployed than there are most jobs to go around because they control most all the jobs other than the mom and pop stuff. So what we need to do is take all this control back. We need to get rid of these corporate frickin' stores and these corporate chain grocery stores and lumber yards. And we need to invest in mom and pop stores and the farmer and buying from the farmer direct, buying our meat from the farmer and taking it straight to the butcher and having them butchered. That's what I used to do. Buying your vegetables and your fruits directly from the farmer. This way, we're creating jobs because the farmer has to have people that work the farm and sell the vegetables and whatnot and the fruits in the farmer's market. And so there's jobs there, and we're creating healthy eating because everything's going to be growing organically with no extra pesticide or chemicals or anything because, you can do it all naturally if you just know how. And then And then we're all going to eat healthy, and we're going to eat cheaper, and they're going to make more money, and then you're going to eat cheaper because you actually save some money. So it's an in between because we're cutting off the middle people. We're cutting out all these corporate people, all their junk and their GMOs and their poisons and their meat growing on a hook in a warehouse with chemicals pumped in it. I mean, and cloned cows and cloned dairy products. I mean, Munstad, Frankenstein and food. It's just crazy. We can't do that. We need to heal our people and heal our society, heal our civilization. And we need to remove all these negative things out of it and turn everything into positive. So we got to get rid of all these people. They got to go. They got to go to an island and be left there and never leave. I mean, we got to make it so they can't leave. And they're just going to be there until the end of their days. And the rest of us are going to move on, you know. We're going to make it so they can't have any more kids. So there's only a lot amount of time they're going to be there. And then they're history because they do the same thing to us. But we're doing it in a better way because we're not going to be evil like they are. They'll have a beautiful life. They'll be living in a paradise all by themselves in their little Hateville. And the rest of us are going to move on and we're going to fix this planet, what they've done to it. We're going to heal it and we're going to get things straightened out. We're going to redesign our government on a global scale. We're all going to come together and work together as decent human and other beings, and we're going to get this stuff straightened out and we're going to get people taken care of because an advanced society does not have starving people. An advanced society does not have homeless people. An advanced society does not have crime. An advanced society does not have borders and walls. This is things that an ignorant society would have. Like I've told you before, we are the only species on this planet that pays to live here. And that's only because you're stupid enough to pay these frickin' monsters what they want. I mean, you need to quit being scared or manipulated. You need to stand up. And you need to tell them it's enough. We can't do this no more. We're gonna take control of things, and you guys are all fired, and you're under arrest for all the crimes you've committed, and we're done. We're done playing your stupid games. We're done listening to all your lies and false promises that never come true, one right up the other. All you do is false promise anybody everything. Then you stand up there and you'll even tell people, you left me and I'm going to screw you. And then you do, you give yourself big fat tax cuts and then lay on the taxes on everybody else so they got to pay. You take Medicare away from people that are sick, that you made sick with your poisons and your pollution. And then you take the EPA rules, Environmental Protection Agency, and you take down most of them rules to where you can pollute everything again and make more money while you're killing more people and making more people sick because you own all the medical drug corporations that are making poisons that make them even more sick, so you're not healing anybody and you're making all the poisons to make everybody sick. So poison, 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 thief, 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 rapist, pedophile, pedophile, rapist, pedophile, rapist, pedophile, thief, 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 murder, 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 murder. That's all you do. That's it. That's all you are. Nothing but criminals. And why we allow this, I don't know. You can hear some of my warriors out there just getting crazy tonight, boy. Ooh, I tell you, that Serpent Clan. Motorcycles, hot rods, you name it, them boys, they love their toys. And the girls, too, they're not shy. And girls can drive better than most of them guys out there. But you gotta stay busy when you're people like us and beings like us. You gotta, we're out here, and we're trying to protect you and save you, but we also gotta wind up a little steam once in a while and just let the hell get out of us a little bit, I guess. But yeah, I want to see a world where everybody's living together in peace and love and harmony. A world where we can turn it back into the garden it used to be. We can have green energy, and we can have a beautiful garden at the same time. Perfect balance between nature and power. And we can start exploring other planets and start building other colonies, because I can teach you how to colonize planets, and I can teach you how to make them so they're livable, habitatable. I have a lot of knowledge, and I'm willing to share. And we all have a lot of knowledge. There's 144,000 of my brothers and sisters, and as for my religion, I've got over 20 million brothers and sisters around the world that practice my religion, and are priests and priestesses and whatnot. And we have 45,300,000,000 and something thousand followers the last time I checked, because I don't keep a check on that every day. I just glance at it once a year in the beginning of the year. That's what we were looking at, 45,300,000 followers now. That's a little chunk of the pie right there. That's a lot of people, but it's not enough people. Some say there's less than 1 billion people in the world. Others say there's 7 billion people in the world. But all I know is no matter how many you are, 99% of you are poor, and you need to join up with the rest of us. I'm descendant of the Druid Serpent clan, the Serpent King of the Serpent clan. I'm also the Serpent King of the Rainbow Warriors, and I'm the Serpent King of the new Global Community Council. And we're gonna have to have some help here, people. United Nations, if there's good people in there, you need to be reaching out to us. And all you other countries around the world, if you got good people in there, you need to be reaching out to us. You need to be joining up. You need to be getting out there. And I want to tell you how you're going to show me that you are the real deal. It's because you'll be out there fighting for your people every freaking day. You'll be making changes. You'll be taking care of the poor. You'll be feeding the hungry, housing the homeless, and making things better, because this is what decent people do. You don't do what you're doing now. No. What you're doing now is despicable. It's disgusting. It's madness. No, you need to treat people decent, with respect, with honor. You gotta act honorable. I don't care if you're a man or a woman, a monkey or a lizard or whatever. It doesn't matter, because everybody deserves to be treated right, no matter if they bleed green, blue, yellow, purple, if they're red, brown, white, black, olive color. It don't matter. Yellow, it don't matter. Everybody deserves to be treated equal. And if you want to be an advanced civilization like you claim to be, it's time you start acting like one. You need to get rid of the fossil fuels. You need to get rid of the nuclear power. You need to get rid of these criminals in charge of your government. You need to get rid of these false prophet priests and all the ones that protect them, or all the priests and the Pope or whoever it is that's, behind all this support for murdering people around the world and killing children and putting them in cages and whatnot. If you want to create a better world, you got to actually get out there and get her done. So I want to see everybody around the world rise up out of the ashes of this death and destruction like the phoenix and be reborn into a new global community where we can all be one people, every nation acting as one nation. This would be the greatest thing that ever happened in your history. And it'd be real, not lies and stuff that, your slave masters have replaced your real history with. But we can do it. And we can make this happen. And we can make this a beautiful world. This world could be great again. America could be great again. If we just get rid of all the things that doesn't make it great. And all these corrupted rich people and corrupted rich politicians, corrupted rich leaders, and corrupted huge corporations, and corrupted mega churches, and corrupted banking institutions, and corrupted everything else and whatnot, and their henchmen, aka law enforcement agencies and kangaroo court systems, and even the military's got a lot of bad apples. We need to sort all that out. Get rid of all of them. I don't want to get rid of the good people. I want to pick all the good people out of the law enforcement, pick all the good people out of the court system, pick all the good people out of the military, and create a new global council guardian corps that's going to be on control. It'll be all military control, but it'll be made up of all the good law enforcement agents and the good court people and the good military people. Because I got a lot of respect for the military, and I'll keep saying it every time it comes to mind. Because I grew up in a military family and a military community till I was about 15 when the old man finally passed away. And I got to break free out into the real world and experience some things. And the world wasn't ready for me, I'll tell you that much. But I don't think it ever will be. But I'm here for you. I'm not here for me. We're all here for you. Every one of you, in every country, in every village. I don't care how big or small or what geological location you're in, or what religion you practice, or what color your skin is, or what language you speak. None of that matters, or what color you bleed. We're here for you all because we love you all. We're here to educate you as best as we can. And we want you to know that you are important. You are special. And you were created with a purpose. And we need to all come together and make that happen. I want all the people from all walks of life, artists, musicians, scientists, and contractors, and everybody. It's time to change our world into a better place for our children and our grandchildren and our great grandchildren. And once we get this aging thing solved for us too. Well, It's coming up on 60 seconds, 60 minutes, so I'm done here. And I hope you all have a good night. Treat everybody, with respect and love. Do the best you can to help others and be a decent person. And the universe will take care of you. Good night.